Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Peter Jennings, and I go by CSURAM88 across the daily fantasy industry. And excited to be back again doing a lineup review of the Shell Houston Open. Made 150 teams on FantasyLabs and narrowed down my pool, and was fortunate enough to take home the dog leg here. It's a $33 buy-in, so I put in for 150 entrants, which comes out to just a little under $5,000 invested. But was fortunate to take first and fourth for 60,000 there, and had some other cashes in there to make it a great week in the dog leg and just in general for this week on the Shell Houston Open, which is really fun because we have the Masters coming up, and I'm just ecstatic. It's one of my favorite sporting events, and my favorite thing for sure in DFS right now is making a ton of lineups for PGA. It's a great sweat, and I'm just really enjoying the process and feel really good about what I'm able to do at Fantasy Labs. So taking a look here, we'll review my exposures as well as some teams. The winning team here, I was fortunate to have some really good combos because I did hit some landmines, but had some nice 6 of 6 teams, including the one that took it down and actually won by a pretty healthy margin. Was a really nice sweat throughout the day, but really had some good breaks down the stretch with Luke List finishing strong and Hudson Swafford finishing strong, both at relatively low ownership. So had Fowler. He ended up being a really chalky high-end option at 25.9%. I had exposure to Fowler and Stenson and Rahm, all three of them in tournaments. Played a little bit more Rahm in cash. I tried to go a little less of him in tournaments because of ownership. Did go some Spieth, but he was actually my lowest owned golfer in the field of the guys I decided to use in tournaments. So Fowler was on a good bit of teams, and it worked out that he had a great tournament. Was right there. Obviously shot an amazing 64 on the opening day, and was in contention throughout the whole tournament, but just couldn't hold off Russell Henley, who played awesome, who was my next pick. And this was my highest conviction pick across the industry, I guess, along with Finau. Loved Russell Henley for the course history angle. He's just absolutely crushed this course, and I felt like he was a great play. He was a chalky play, but really happy it worked out. Happy to see him win. Certainly something we can apply. You can weight course history in the models, and that's something I'm definitely doing a lot here for Augusta coming up. And I did use it in my model preview, as you guys saw, for the Shell Houston Open. I did think it was still important, not as important as it is for the Masters, but Henley really popped with that. So I was fortunate to have a lot of him. He took it down. Had Charles Howell at 3 under, and it's amazing I was able to win the tournament with a pretty decent margin with a guy finishing 3 under, tied for 39th. There just weren't that many 6 of 6 lineups, so it really worked out. And I also had some guys that finished at the top that were relatively low owned. But Howell's a guy who's been great and consistent all year. I've been taking him most weeks in DFS, and even though he didn't pay a huge dividend, it was nice that he made the cut and definitely had a good performance overall and got a three plus birdie streak. So good performance from Charles Howell. Had Luke List at 7%, and you notice here all these guys are bombers relatively, and List is a guy that I've been high on for a while this year, and his price has just been too low. So finished 16 under, definitely had a great run at it, played incredible down the stretch, and was really a key to winning the tournament for the dog leg for me personally. Happy for Luke List, definitely a guy you want to be targeting in bomber courses. Hudson Swafford, I think, is a deep sleeper for the Masters. Another guy who's been playing extremely well, has a win already on the 2017 season, and just playing great golf. I had got him at 4.2%. He was a big position for me. Guy definitely I'm taking on bomber courses, and it just worked out. Vegas is a guy who has a lot of upside. I definitely like playing him in tournaments, and he came out with some great rounds, especially the Thursday round, and got off to a good start. Made an eagle, made some birdies, had a bogey-free round, a lot of DraftKings bonus scoring, and he was a big part of taking this down. So very fortunate to win first in this dog leg. I'm loving and putting 150 teams in. The process is just so easy on Fantasy Labs, and it's definitely the sport that I'm enjoying multi-entering the most for sure. Fourth place team was very similar, just had Finau and Mickelson, and I like both those guys. Mickelson, I think, is going to be pretty chalky for the Masters. He was very chalky here. Up and down, still spraying it off the tee, but I thought he was a pretty good play. And then I love Finau for the price, given the bomber course angle. So you can see here I had some teams do really well. I had a couple teams, even a team that finished 51st with a miscut. So it was a tough week to get all 6 golfers through, but just was lucky to have some really good combos. But still a lot of really good cashing teams here. Wanted to shout out B Nelly 7896, who also was right there. Definitely a great tournament team and a big finish for second place for 25,000. Stuart Sink, Finau, Fowler, Henley, List, and Rose. I loved Rose this week, and I'm really high on him in general for the Masters. So big shout out there, and congratulations to everyone who had a good week at the Shell Houston Open. Looking over at FantasyLabs, here are the exposures that I had for the week. You can see here I had Finau at 41% as my highest owned guy, so pretty small core and just kind of had a lot of exposure, in the 20 and 30% range for a lot of these guys. I went Finau as a bomber, Rose, who I really liked as a secondary stud. Cabrera Bello missed the cut, didn't work out. Same with Adam Scott, who I liked a lot and I also liked for the Masters. Russell Henley, I talked about, that was critical. He was the winning golfer, obviously, and that was really a course history angle. Kyle Reifers I took as a sleeper, kind of a guy that I thought had potential. He's played really well in Texas. Lucas Glover, who I'm high on this year, he missed the cut. Swafford, who I got at 35% of my lineups, he was very leveraged. That worked out. I'm just kind of going through here. A lot of guys I already talked about. Howell, consistent. Palmer, I took a chance on. Billy Horschel, Vegas. I did have Reed miss the cut. Fowler, Luke List, Stenson missed the cut. Rahm, Mickelson, O'Hare, JB Holmes, and Jordan Spieth at 6% who did miss the cut. Fortunately, I didn't have more of him. But yeah, you can see here it's a pretty small core. And I made all my lineups here on FantasyLabs. Definitely done this for the Masters as well. Probably do some content around it this week, just how easy it is to make a bunch of lineups. And I think it's just an amazing sweat. Don't have to enter the $33 either. Can enter the $3 as well. And it's just a really, really good experience. And overall, just very bullish on golf and just the entertainment value that it provides. And obviously, I think there's a nice edge, especially with the data that we have here. So really good week. It's a great time for DFS right now. Our baseball product is live at Labs as well as hockey's still going, NBA's going. Obviously, the Masters are going to be great. So it's one of the best months for DFS, especially it's definitely the best month outside of football season. So take advantage, guys. Hoping to see more FantasyLabs subscribers at the top of the leaderboard in the Masters. And hope this video is helpful. And just in general, good luck to all you guys going forward.